Workout complete, let's start this day. Good morning guys, from central London this morning. Mum is next to me. We are heading in to my second surgeon appointment. So I'm quite excited today actually to find out a little bit more about what the plans are, hopefully, and how the MCL is doing. So a lot to update you guys on. You will be coming on the journey with me. Obviously you can't come into the appointment, but I'll be updating you throughout. So hungry today, so we brought a little packed lunch with us, which I'll be showing you guys. Because it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to get into central London. Can't go on public transport yet because we got Brucey. Here I have a mixed bowl of fruit. I had breakfast earlier, but this is just to snack on because we're coming into the afternoon now. And also these saurine bars are my favorite because they're healthy, delicious little banana loaves. How I feel every time I'm in London. Map out. Basically the next day after seeing the surgeon. That is because yesterday was a tough day. I had some news that I didn't really want to hear, and it was a very emotional day for me. I just didn't feel like being on camera, and I'm really sorry about that because I tried to share the highs and the lows with you guys and just be really real and authentic, but in this case I was just trying to absorb some of the news that I heard, and yeah, I didn't sleep well. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I get like any bad news, the first thing that happens is it goes to my stomach and I just can't eat and I can't sleep, and yeah, I'm a bit of a mess. So please excuse how I look and if I have a slightly negative aura or presence around me. I'm trying to like turn it around, but yeah. Best way of describing it is this is the injury that just keeps on giving, and I'm taking it, but at some point it needs to stop and things need to turn around and it needs to start getting better, because at the moment I feel like I'm down here and it just keeps like knocking me down. But yeah, you guys know me and I refuse to be beaten, and the reason why I'm in a gym kit is because I'm about to do a workout. Even though it's sponsored by Brucey, I'm getting on with it and I'm living life and not letting this stop me. I just want to basically tell you guys where I'm at with the injury and what the news was. Now, I don't want you to think it was all bad news, because it wasn't. There was a little bit of good news in there, so I'm going to start off with that and then I'm going to give you the facts and I guess work through what's going to happen now over the next year and a half. So first up, you guys know that I'm in Brucey for what I thought was going to be 6 weeks. The reason why I'm in Brucey is to help heal the MCL. The good news is my MCL is healing nicely. The surgeon did an assessment on it. There's something that we call an end fill, so it's not super lax. If you think of an elastic band, when you pull an elastic band, there's always a bit where it comes to the end and you can't stretch it anymore and then it just goes back to normal. But if you think about an elastic band that you've done that with a million times, right? After a while, you won't have that end resistance point anymore. It just keeps stretching to eventually the point where it snaps. So ligaments should be like a nice healthy elastic band. It should stretch to a certain amount, then it should have that end fill where it doesn't go any further. Because my MCL was totally ruptured, broken completely, it means that when you're doing certain tests on the knee, it doesn't have an end fill. So it doesn't have that point where you're like, oh yeah, I can't go any further. It just keeps going. Now, the good news about the MCL is it does heal on its own. All of the evidence out there shows that it heals really nicely in a brace with conservative treatment rather than having surgery on it. And when the surgeon looked at my MCL yesterday, he was really pleased with how it's healing, which is like, hallelujah. Thankfully, some good news finally. I've been in the brace now for 2.5 weeks and it's already got that end fill, so it's not really lax and just keeping going. So that means that the healing is well underway and I'm just so happy about that. So now on to the bad news, which is kind of looking at the knee as a whole, I guess. I had a little bit of a reality check yesterday. The surgeon is so lovely and kind and reassuring, but he had a moment where he looked me square in the eye and said, we've got to stop calling this an ACL injury because it is way more than an ACL injury. It's basically a multi-ligament injury. So not only have I ruptured my ACL, I've ruptured my MCL, I've torn my lateral meniscus, and I potentially have a fibular fracture. So, you know, the ACL is just a quarter of that. He basically said to me, this is way more complicated than your average ACL injury, and we're looking at a long recovery period. Guys, I'm looking at a year and a half until I'm back to full fitness. Like, that was really shocking to hear that. And I know that this can all seem a little bit confusing because when you hear about typical ACL injuries, you know, someone could be back in 9 months, 6 months to 9 months. But because I have the DVTs as well, it's thrown a whole new spanner in the works. I don't know if you guys use that saying. And it's just made everything a lot slower. I was trying to like explain everything to Alex on the phone yesterday while we try and come up with a plan about us and about Dubai and about life. And I guess it's really difficult to explain what's going on here and why it's going to take so long. For you guys, what I thought I'd do is basically like jot it down so you can see, and hopefully it will make more sense, and then you can kind of come on the journey a little bit more with me. Yeah, go from there. So I don't know how well this filmed when I was drawing it out. It's also getting a little bit dark, so I thought I would talk you guys through it. This is my time axis. Along here, time, the one thing in life that you cannot replace. Isn't that ironic? So I've started the journey from now rather than from the injury, which was over a month ago now, to 1.5 years. So from right now through to the next month, I will still be in the brace. I will start taking it on and off, but I'll be doing my physio mainly in the brace. The role of the physio during this period is to try and get my movement back in my knee. So at the moment, I am still pretty stiff through my leg, as you can see. It's a little bit of a struggle, and I think I managed to get about 70 degrees of flexion. So that's what I'm going to be working on during this period here. I'll also be doing some training as much as I can and trying to get my strength back. By the way, during that time, it is all about building the glutes, the quads, and the core, so I'm going to be going super hard on all of those. And then in just under a month's time, I'm going to be seeing the surgeon again for him to reassess my knee. During this period, the 3 months here, I'm still on my anticoagulant medication, so that's for the blood clots, the rivaroxaban. After I come off of the rivaroxaban, this period here, which is 4 to 6 months long, I'm going to be doing something called prehab. So it's preventative rehab. It's basically to prepare myself for the surgery. Now, the big question is, why is this period here so long? It is basically because I have DVTs and the surgeon wants to wait 4 to 6 months before I have the surgery after coming off of the rivaroxaban medication. So that is why this is a longer process than it would be for other people. So the DVTs have completely messed me up with this, but on the other hand, finding the DVTs potentially saved my life, so I'm very, very thankful that I had that Doppler scan and they were found. I need to stop moaning. Basically, I will be okay, even though this feels really awful. I am gonna go hard during this. I'm gonna work my ass off to get in the best shape I have ever been in my life before the surgery, which will be 7 to 9 months time from now. And then after that, onto this baby, 9 to 12 months of rehab. And the reason why this is so long is because I have the meniscal injury as well. This period here is going to be spent in the brace, on elbow crutches, doing early rehab here, mid and late ACL rehab. If I didn't have the meniscal injury, this bit here wouldn't be in there. One interesting thing that the surgeon did say to me is patients come in like a curved bell shape. These are the patients that do nothing. These are your patients that overwork. Wow, my handwriting is really messy. Gosh, it looks like a doctor's handwriting. So right there are the typical patients like myself who are probably athletic, maybe even professional athletes, and just want to push it back to being fit. And in the middle here is your average person who works hard but doesn't over push it. Is the red zone. These people do not do well in recovery. These ones push it too hard. These ones don't do anything. These ones in the middle kill their rehab, less likely to re-rupture. That, guys, is where I want to sit, and I need to avoid temptation of going there because I know what I'm like. So guys, I hope that explains it all a little bit more. I know it's going to be a long journey ahead, and trust me, I spent most of my afternoon and evening crying last night. I actually don't even know where there are tears left in my body because this has been such an emotional roller coaster, and it's gone from such a tiny little ski injury. Like, when I look back at that video, I'm like, it was the smallest fall in the world, and it has totally turned my life upside down for the next year and a half. But at the same time, I am desperate to not feel negative and just turn this around and be positive about the whole experience and find that silver lining, which I know is there, and basically keep living, find a way of still being healthy, super happy, doing my workouts, which I'm about to do right now, cooking my healthy recipes, and taking you guys on that journey with me. Wow, I am feeling motivated today. Okay, I better work out.